നമസ്കാരം. ഇന്ന് 8ാം ക്ലാസ്സിന്റെ സെക്കൻഡ് ക്ലാസ് ആണ്. Here we discuss about mass. Here two pictures are given and you have been asked to answer these two questions. First question is that it is done after placing a weight block in one pan. Here the pictures represent how sugar is weighed in a shop. How sugar is weighed in a shop. It is done after placing a weight block in one pan. What is the purpose of placing the weight? We know that this is done to get the same amount of sugar as that of the matter contained in the weighing block. How are the measurements in both the pans in the second picture? How are the measurements? Here we can see that the two pans are equal. The weight in these two are equal. That means we have the same amount of sugar as the matter in this weighing block. That is, this is done to get the same amount of sugar as that of the matter in the weighing block. Now let us define what is mass. Mass of a substance is the measure of the quantity of matter contained in it. Contained in it. Let us observe this figure 8.13. What is the marking on it? The marking on it is, you can see that here there is a marking which is 2 kg. On each weight block, its mass will be marked. On each weight block, there will be a marking which indicates its mass. The mass of the weight block shown in the figure is 2 kilogram. The basic unit of mass is kilogram. Thus, we have seen that mass of a substance is the measure of the matter, quantity of matter contained in it, and the basic unit of mass is kilogram. The basic unit of mass is kilogram. We represent kilogram by the symbol small letter kg. What is 1 kilogram mass? What is 1 kilogram mass? We consider 1 kilogram as the mass of a cylinder made of an alloy of 90% platinum and 10% iridium kept at the International Bureau of Weights and Measures in Paris. Similar one is kept at the National Physical Laboratory in New Delhi. This is the accurate 1 kilogram mass. It is the mass of a cylinder made up of an alloy. Alloy means a mixture of elements or metals. Here 90% platinum is used. 90% in the material is platinum and 10% is that of iridium. This is kept at the International Bureau of Weights and Measures in Paris. It is situated in Paris, and a similar one is also in our country. That is, it is situated at the National Physical Laboratory in New Delhi. In addition to the basic unit kilogram, we use other smaller as well as bigger units to suit our convenience for measuring mass. They are milligram, gram, quintal, ton, etc. From the table given below, find out their relationship with kilogram. Here we say something about the unit, basic unit. Although the basic unit of mass is kilogram, sometimes we use smaller or bigger units. We have other smaller as well as bigger units suit our convenience for measuring mass. That is, the smaller units are milligram, gram, and the bigger units are quintal, ton, etc. From the table, let us see the relationship between kilogram and these units. Here 1 mg is equal to 1 by 10 lakh kilogram, that is 1 by 10 raised to 6 kg, which can also be written as 10 raised to minus 6 kg, that is 1 milligram is converted to kilogram by multiplying, or it is equal to 10 raised to minus 6 kg. 1 gram is 1 by 1000 kg, and it is 1 by 1000 can be written as 10 raised to 3 because 10 into 10 into 10 is 1000. Therefore 1 by 10 raised to 3 kg is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 kg. Now 1 quintal means 100 kg. 100 means 10 raised to 2 kg. That is 100 kilograms is equal to 1 quintal. Now 1 ton is equal to 1000 kg. 1000 kg is represented by the unit 1 ton. That is 10 raised to 3 kg means it is 1 ton. Now let us move on to time. Another quantity, how the time is measured. The given picture shows the shadow cast by the flagpole of your school in the morning, at noon and in the evening. Here the picture shows the shadows of different times. In the morning the shadow is like this, and in the noon it is like this figure represents, and it is similar to this figure in the evening. Of these there are 3 questions given which we have to answer. Of these, at what time is the shadow of the least length cast? That means, at what time is the shadow of the least length cast? Of least length. The shadow is very short when it is at the noon. At the noon. What may be the reason? What may be the reason for this? Why the shadow is shortest, or it casts a shadow of least length at noon? Because when the light falls on an object, the path of the light is hindered, and so the shadow of the object is formed. At noon, the sun is above the flagpole. So, at that time, the shadow of the least length is cast in above the flagpole. Hence, we get the shortest shadow. Our ancestors used to determine approximate time by observing the shadow of objects. This was our ancestors' method to find time. That is, they observe the shadows of objects to find the time. They used the sundial as well. In addition to this shadow clock, they used the sundial. The figure of sundial is given here. Suggest a method to make a sundial. For this, we need a flat wooden board or stout cardboard. We need a cardboard or a wooden board. Then the surface should be painted white, or you stick a sheet of paper onto this cardboard. You also need a long nail, a hammer, a pencil. Now place the board on a flat surface in a spot that receives sun all day long. First, to make the sundial, you have to make a board on which white color is painted or white paper is stick. Hammer the nail as close to the center of the board. Now you have to hammer the nail. Where the shadow of the nail head falls on the surface, make a mark. Now the shadow of the nail head falls on the surface. So here the shadow is given. Here we can see the shadow in this figure. And similarly, the shadow of the nail false, there we make a mark. Ideally, you want to do this at the beginning of the hour, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock and so on. You have to mark the points at 6 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, at 8 o'clock and so on. Without moving the board, draw a line with a ruler connecting the marks to the nail at the center. Now you have to joining the shadow and you can now tell the time at your longitude and latitude. Here there are 4 questions given. Is the sundial you have made suitable for use at night? Is it useful at night? Is the sundial you have made suitable for use at night? Surely we cannot use this at night because at night we cannot see the shadows. What might have been the measures taken by our ancestors to ascertain time at night? Then what were our ancestors' methods to find time at night? They were using astronomical observations. They were depending on the stars. By what name is the time from one noon to the next noon referred? This is an important point. That is, the time from one noon to the next noon is called solar day. What is a solar day? Solar day is called the time, or it is the time period from one noon to the next noon. For measuring time intervals less than a day is divided into 24 equal parts. For measuring time there will be time intervals less than a day. A day is divided into 24 equal parts. What is that? Each part is called an hour. What is each of this duration of time referred as? It is referred as an hour. Also, the hour is further divided into 60 equal parts and each part is called a minute. 60 equal parts, that is a minute. The time interval obtained by dividing a minute into 60 equal parts. The time interval obtained by dividing a minute into 60 equal parts is the basic unit of time. It is the basic unit of time. It is, what is it? It is second. Now, what is the basic unit of time? The basic unit of time is second. How many seconds make a day? How many seconds make a day? A day means a solar day. What is a solar day? The solar day is the time period from one noon to the next noon. Now let us calculate how many seconds make a day. That is, one solar day is equal to 24 hours. Therefore, 24 into 1 hour is 60 minutes. Therefore, 24 into 60 into. Now you have to convert it to second. That is, 60 minutes means 60 into 60 second. That is 24 into 60 into 60 second. That is 86,400 second. The 1 second is 1 by 86,400 part of an average solar day. That is, a day has 86,400 seconds. A day means in seconds it is 86,400 seconds. Now what is 1 second? 1 second is 1 by 86,400 part of an average solar day. It is the 1 by 86,400th part of a day, solar day. The basic unit of time is second and its symbol is S. This you have to remember. Now let us move on to fundamental units. Fundamental units. There are some quantities which are not related to one another. There are certain quantities there are certain quantities which are not related to one another and cannot be expressed using other quantities. Such quantities are fundamental quantities. Now, what is meant by a fundamental quantity? That is, certain quantities cannot be expressed using other quantities. They are unique, and these quantities are called as fundamental quantities. Now, what is fundamental quantities? A fundamental quantity is a quantity which is unable to express, which cannot be expressed using other quantities. Which cannot be expressed using other quantities. We cannot express a quantity with other quantities. Such a quantity is called a fundamental quantity. The units of the fundamental quantities are called fundamental units. That is, the units such as kilogram, meter, second, etc. are called fundamental units. The system based on these fundamental units is the International System of Units. There is a system of units. In physics, we study about many units. Some of them are fundamental units and others are not. The fundamental units are, there is a system based on these fundamental units. That is called the International System of Units. What is International System of Units? It is the system based on the fundamental units. It is International System of Units. It's in short SI units. That is, International System of Units is simply referred as or simply said as SI units. It is the SI unit is the short form of International System of Units. Here we have 2 points to remember. That is, there are some fundamental quantities. What are fundamental quantities? They are quantities which cannot be expressed using other quantities. Now, what are fundamental units? That is the units of the fundamental quantities. The units of the fundamental quantities are the fundamental units. Now, what is the SI unit? SI unit means the International System of Units. International System of Units. And it is the system based on the fundamental units. It is the system based on the fundamental units. Fundamental units are the units of fundamental quantities, and fundamental quantities are the quantities which cannot be expressed using other quantities. They are unique. Now let us study more about the fundamental quantities and their SI units. This table 8.3. Table 8.3. There are 7 fundamental quantities. There are 7 fundamental quantities. That means these quantities can never be expressed using other quantities. We cannot express these quantities in terms of other quantities. So these are fundamental quantities, and there are SI. The units of these quantities are SI units, or this table represents fundamental quantities and their units. And their units are also referred to as SI units. SI units has 2 parts. That is, it is often we use the symbols in their units. For writing the units, we can use this symbols. Now you have to study the 7 fundamental quantities and their SI units. The first one is length. Length is a fundamental quantity, and what is its unit? Its unit is meter. What is its symbol? It is small letter m. It is small letter m. Now the second fundamental quantity is mass. What is its unit? It has many units, but we mention here only the fundamental unit, or SI units are mentioned here. In addition to this, there are other units, but they are not SI units. SI unit of mass is the only one, that is the kilogram, and it is represented as kg, small letter k, small letter g. Now the third fundamental quantity is time. What is the SI unit of time? That is second. There are other units also, but the SI unit of time or the fundamental unit of time is second, and its symbol is S. The fourth fundamental quantity is electric current. Electric current, its unit is ampere. Ampere is from the name of a scientist, Andre Ampere, who had made many experiments related to electricity. Here ampere, for ampere we use the symbol capital A. The fifth fundamental quantity is temperature, and its SI unit is from the name of another scientist who is Kelvin. If we write the full name, instead of the symbols you have to write like this, small letter Kelvin. Even though it is from the name of a scientist, we cannot write the K in block letters or capital letters, but we can write the capital K as its symbol. Sixth fundamental unit is amount of substance. Amount of substance has the SI unit mole, and it is in symbol we write MOL, small letter MOL. The seventh fundamental quantity is luminous intensity. It is the intensity of light. Now it has the unit candela, and it is symbolized as CD. Its symbol is C, small letter C, small letter D, CD. Now you study thoroughly this table. What are the fundamental quantities and what are its names and their symbols. Units, name of the units as well as the symbol of units. There are some other quantities you should be familiar with that are not included among fundamental units. Now there are a second type of units. They are called derived units. For this, let us go through this. That is, first they are area, volume, density. Area, volume, density, acceleration, velocity, momentum, etc. That is, area is given here. Second one, volume is given. Now you can write another as density and volume, velocity, momentum. These can be written here. Now what are derived units? Derived units are units just opposite to fundamental units. That is, we know that the fundamental units can never be expressed using other units. So they are called fundamental units. Instead of this, or unlike this, derived units are units, or derived quantities are quantities which can be expressed in terms of other quantities, which can be expressed. They are called derived quantities, and the units of such quantities are called derived units. Thus, in physics, we have two types of units, that is, one is fundamental units and the other is derived units. The fundamental units are the units of fundamental quantities. How many fundamental quantities are there? There are 7 fundamental quantities. Now, derived units are greater than, or a number of derived units also. First, we find the area, the unit of area. That is, here is a problem given. Find the area of classroom of length 5 meter and breadth 4 meter. Let us find the area. The classroom is a rectangle in shape. Therefore, area can be calculated using length into breadth equation, length into breadth. That is, here length is given as 5 meter and breadth is given as 4 meter. Thus, 5 meter into 4 meter, that is 20. 5 into 4 is 20. Now meter into meter. What is meter into meter? Meter square. That is 20 meter square is the area. Here 20 is called the magnitude and meter square is called the unit. And since this is obtained from the unit meter, that is, it is the unit of length, which is a fundamental quantity. This unit can be represented using the unit of length. So area is a derived unit because it can be expressed in terms of other units. Therefore, area is an example for derived units. What is the unit of area? Its unit is meter square. Now the unit of area, how did you calculate the unit of area? It is given here. Unit of area is unit of length into unit of breadth. Because area is given by length into breadth. So unit of area is given by unit of length into unit of breadth. That is, length and breadth has the equal units, meter. Therefore meter into meter is meter square. That is the unit of area. Area has the unit meter square. Thus we can see that the unit of area is stated using the fundamental unit of length, that is meter. Such units expressed using fundamental units are derived units. These are what are derived units? The units which can be expressed using fundamental units. We can express these type of units using fundamental units. These are called derived units. Now let us define what are derived units. Units which are expressed in terms of fundamental units, or those units which are dependent on fundamental units are called derived units. What are derived units? Units which are expressed in terms of fundamental units are called derived units, or those units which are dependent on fundamental units are called derived units. You can write it in two ways. Either you can say that units which are expressed in terms of fundamental units are called derived units, or those units which are dependent on fundamental units are derived units. These two statements are used for defining derived units. On the basis of the above information, let us take a look at the salient features of SI units. Now, it is very important that the salient features, what are the characteristics, what are the peculiarities of SI units? There are 3 points, 3 salient features. That is, SI units are unified units. That means they are unique. They are unique. Unified units. Unified units. It is used everywhere in the universe. Internationally accepted. SI units are second salient feature is that they are internationally accepted. That is, all world recognizes these as the unit of. Third point is adequate to express all physical quantities. SI units are adequate. They are enough to all physical quantities. That is the salient features. What are the salient features of SI units? They are unified units. They are internationally accepted. They are adequate to express all physical quantities. Thus, we have studied about the fundamental units, fundamental quantities, fundamental units, derived quantities and derived units. Or compare the fundamental and derived units. And you have to study the 7 fundamental units and the SI units of the quantities, fundamental quantities. Now you should study the derived units and examples for derived units, and one example is area. For derived units, the first example is area and its unit is meter square. And for volume, we know that it is volume is equal to length into breadth into height. That is meter into meter into meter. That is meter cube. cubic meter. M cube is the unit of volume. The acceleration, velocity, momentum, etc. are all examples for derived units, which we will study in second chapter.